What accommodation should you make whenever giving performance feedback remotely? Consider this scenario. Pedro had a recent habit of turning in his reports days late. He had been with the company for several years, but he seemed to be constantly dropping the ball in the last few months. This was dramatically affecting the team's performance. Furthermore, Pedro had been passive aggressive to several team members lately, and the team's tension was quickly seen in online communication. Pedro was on a remote team, and few people interacted with him on a personal level. His manager knew that he needed to address the performance decline, but he had to decide how. The method of feedback will affect how the feedback is received. If a performance issue has the potential to be high in emotion or deep in complexity, or you know the individual prefers personal conversation, be as personal as you possibly can. Sending Pedro an email, a memo, or a Slack message would not be as effective in addressing this issue as a faster feedback loop method of communication. So instead, his manager decided to schedule a Zoom meeting, and in this case, he could better read the nonverbals and have a conversation about Pedro's performance. His manager soon discovered that Pedro had a recent death in the family, and he was caring for another ill family member. He was overwhelmed and he couldn't do his work well, and then he felt like he let the team down and he attacked back. During the conversation, Pedro broke down and he began to cry. He was extremely overwhelmed. This conversation would have been much different if it had been an email. The manager wouldn't have been able to read the situation and then effectively provide the support to help champion and encourage Pedro in this difficult time. While it's easy to hide behind a screen, be aware of the emotion of your feedback and be vulnerable and personal when addressing high emotion topics. If performance feedback is simply informational, an email or a text will do just fine. If performance feedback is higher in emotion, try to be as personal as possible. In-person meetings are the best, but if those are not possible, utilize phone or online communication tools like Zoom or Teams or Skype. So here's what I want you to do. Adjust your communication style based on the emotion, the complexity, and the person receiving the feedback. Thank you for joining this episode. For more information about our performance feedback learning and other talent development learning, follow me, Amber Vandenberg, and my company, the Pathways Group.